what are things that you can do in your video, practical things that you can start doing in your video as soon as today that are gonna help you to really keep people on your videos for a much longer time, even past the video hook, right? And then that, like we just talked about, that are gonna contribute to much longer session times and binge-worthy content in the future. So that when your channel finally does start to go viral, people actually go back and watch your other past videos and they binge watch it, and it just helps to continue making your channel grow and stuff. The first thing, most practical thing, and this is something that I do all the time. So I like to include a lot of pattern interruptions within my videos. What does that mean? So if there's a shot of me talking for 10 minutes straight, and it's just one shot of me just talking the whole time, yes, there will be some people who watch the video for 10 minutes straight of me just talking to the camera. For sure there will be, right? But I can get even more people to watch for longer if I'm including pattern interruptions. So if they're sitting there watching me talk for 10 seconds and all of a sudden I cut to an image of something that I'm talking about, like I reference an image or a screenshot or some B-roll, like some stock footage or something, that's a pattern interruption. You're interrupting the person's like viewing pattern by throwing something different at them on the screen. And it kind of helps to like reset this internal clock that exists within everybody. Yeah. If they're just sitting there watching you talk for 5 minutes straight, it's just like, at first they're like, you know, perked up, excited, and they just slowly start to go down and down and down and down. Or they start scrolling. As you're talking, they're scrolling and looking at other videos. What should I watch next? This is boring. Whereas if you're constantly interrupting this like pattern inside their head, this internal clock, if you're constantly interrupting it, then you're resetting that clock in people's head. You know, you're talking for 10 seconds, you cut to an image. It helps keep people watching longer. Now, is this going to work for 100% of people? No, of course not. Everyone's wired different. Everyone has different viewing patterns. Generally speaking, it does work, right? Because even sound can be used to create pattern interruptions. The background music shifts, right? It doesn't have to just be visual things. It can also be like audible things where it's like a sound effect or a music shift or a camera angle shift or you cutting in even closer and then cutting out, and like all that stuff counts as a pattern interruption, and it's helping to kind of extend the viewer's patience, extend their interest in your video. So that's by far the most important thing when it comes to increasing retention.
Another really important thing is cutting the fat.
There's going to be certain content within the video that doesn't actually help contribute to the overall message or lesson that you're trying to deliver. There's going to be certain content in there that just doesn't have to be there.
Yeah, because it's not necessarily about making it shorter.
It's not about making shorter content. You can make an hour-long video that doesn't have fat inside of it, right? And it's because every single thing that you're saying is helping to progress the point that you're trying, the ultimate point that you're trying to make. So there's those two things. Another thing to do to help increase retention in your videos is to avoid using filler words. So a filler word is like that. So is actually a really common filler word. Right, you know, like, these are all filler words that in a normal conversation, it's okay to occasionally use those filler words. If you have friends who say like after every single sentence, it starts to get really annoying really fast. But especially in your videos, especially if it's like the entertainment niche or if it's the education niche, you want to try to avoid using filler words as much as possible. And there's one trick that you can use to avoid filler words, and that's by scripting your videos. Go watch my videos. Tell me how many times I say or like or in my videos. I hardly ever say it. Hardly. And it's because all my videos are scripted. And so I know exactly what I'm gonna say and when I'm gonna say it within the video. And because of that, I don't have to, the only reason you're using a filler word is because you don't really know what to say next. And so, and because you're a little bit uncomfortable with silence, you choose to fill that silence with this filler word. Yeah. Does that make sense? That's the only reason. And so if you don't know what you're going to say next and you're talking to the camera about whatever you're talking about and you didn't script your video, naturally you're going to start using filler words, unless you're just somebody who's good about that. Most people aren't. It takes practice to avoid using the filler words. Scripting your videos is a really good way to avoid that in the first place, or even at least bullet points. But I will say this though, I know people who started off making videos doing bullet points. Graham Stephan is a perfect example. He started off making his videos with bullet points. He quickly realized that if he wants full control, which I talk about this in previous lessons, but it's so important, I'll say it again. If he wanted full control over the direction his video was gonna go, over, the certain tactics he can put in his videos to increase retention. And so scripting is super beneficial, and it's something that I personally think most people should do. Even Mr. Beast scripts, which again, we talk about this in previous lessons, even he scripts his videos. And that's just one of those small tweaks that you can make to make your videos that much better, to hold retention that much longer. It's just like avoid using filler words. And I wouldn't be discouraged if you can't implement all these things starting tomorrow. Implement them over time. Make each video 1% better than the last one. And if you can do that, then after 100 videos, well, you're 100% better now than you were when you first started. 1% better with every single video. So